I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. Diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim. Welcome, yes. This is Technology Thursday, so I'm just going with a light shirt and, relaxed mode. Nothing big. Really kind of casual here above the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. Tension with Iran is at an all-time high. Many people, like Eric for Good, believes that the economy is pretty much teetering on collapse because of Trump's bad practices. The trade war with China is not going to help us in the long run. The first precedent of a trade war like this happened during the prior to the Great Depression and the fall of the markets in Wall Street. Yeah, same kind of thing. High tariffs and then collapsing economy. Right now we're in the mad grab for more money. And everyone's trying to, stick their money somewhere so they can get more money. And it's kind of like a feeding frenzy of piranha until the food is gone. The equity is dissolved and solvency is wiped out. Liquidators like Donald Trump have been known for wiping out casinos and countless other things. So it's as you fall into the trap of thinking Trump's helping the economy. I read a statistic today, 52% of the American people believe Trump is helping the economy. I'm not sure exactly where they're getting the stats. They may be paying for those stats from, any pollster could probably sell their data. So your dad lived through the Great Depression, as did my father. Yeah. True Blue 2018. There's always this big, huge, tremendous surge of greed right before a major collapse. Yeah, Trump can't make America great again because he's already depleting it of its virtue. We've already heard our own top leaders like Mueller, former director of the FBI, which I find funny, called himself a special prosecutor, which I find funny, because he didn't even understand the law. He had to testify. And then when he did, he looked like he was on Quaaludes or Valium or something. Anyway, Mueller is, I believe, suspicious. I believe that he may be helping the Russians. And I still believe that we are in the throes of collusion, but Mueller called it conspiracy. And you notice that that story never made it to the front page of the New York Times? This has been called a conspiracy all along by Mueller. Yeah, and that's what came out in the hearings. We didn't hear that, though, in the recap. So it is truly a conspiracy between Donald Trump and Russia, and we'll get into that tonight. But more importantly, Technology Thursday should be about embracing new technologies for our daily life. But here we are, wondering where the new production is. How come Donald Trump hasn't stimulated the green sector? How come Obama didn't stimulate the green sector? What's wrong with that? That scenario needs to fire up, and I've got a plan to do it. I want to get innovation directly made by the U.S. government, where the government actually does something for a change. We have to start with the big problem. The problem is the government is the problem. Fix the problem, then we won't have the problem. So the government has to start doing something to show their worth, otherwise they're worthless. We're surrounded by bureaucrats that are pretending to do their job every day and not. So I can go through a list of people, employees at every major agency, the FDA, the EPA, the USDA, and I can find all kinds of vulnerabilities. Even now, as I analyze our current technological profile worldwide, I see our nation lagging in so many areas, especially in the military, which is seemingly striving for military dominance through embracing AI, letting AI do everything, not realizing that tactically we need to move forward in an agile way toward a drone missile defense system, and that hasn't been accomplished yet. Most of the jarheads that I see everywhere I go are like completely oblivious to how antiquated their technology is. But I can tell you one thing, we're underfunding certain areas of the military that need to be funded. We need a growth opportunity for people building unmanned aerial vehicles, solar panel systems. We need growth in that sector, and we're not seeing it from Trump. He's uninventive, and he's unable to actually create new ideas on the fly. No, I just decided to move the camera closer. I'll be glad to pull it back. Yeah, I was just adjusting the... Let me get the camera up here, hang on. Yeah, I was just adjusting the camera earlier. There we go. Is that better? You feel better about that? Okay, thank you. That'll be better a little bit farther away. Yeah, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? Well, last night I dropped off half an hour before the show because I had been attacked. Our VPN was attacked daily. We're encountering a lot of different problems with people trying to shut our show down, and I'm not kidding. No, I was never a person who's into drugs. Yeah, when I say attacked, I mean our VPN was attacked, DDoSed, for at least 3 hours last night. We believe that they can find the VPN, but they can't find the server, especially when we bounce it off about 4 other proxies. But the reality is we're always being hounded every night in our show. And as you know, I am censored at YouTube and on Twitter heavily. And that's been a big drag on our growth in America. That I cannot control. As you know, I'm like you, I'm susceptible to the shadow banning that's going on, a violation of our rights and freedoms. And while the Russians continue to take over our government, and I mean the Democrats and the Republicans, because now I'm looking at this holistically, and I see this as a two-party problem, contamination with Russia. And that even came up in the hearings with Mueller. He could not talk about certain key areas which Donald Trump had been communicating with Russians that had also talked to the Democrats. Yeah, I don't know why people would even think that anyone would be why should anyone accuse anybody of being anything? Gay, straight, or transgender? I mean, really. Isn't it a hate crime to accuse somebody of being anything? Ivan says, you don't care about Iran? Well, that's fine, Ivan. I mean, I don't think Iran cares about us either. I don't care if Iran's economy is going down. What I'm concerned about is Donald Trump creating a trade war with China over this Meng, the chief financial officer for Huawei, one of the largest transcommunication and communication systems in the world. I'm concerned that Donald Trump made a tactical error by not following my advice and not imposing these severe economic sanctions on Iran. not to screw their economy over. I wanted to actually just leave it at that and just impose sanctions in areas where they can create the money necessary to fund terrorism. What Iran was doing was they were caught counterfeiting paper, getting counterfeit paper and printing currency, and they created money out of Yemenis money notes like that, counterfeited, can pay for terrorists. We simply needed to impose sanctions on inks and paper, not transcommunications. Telecommunications, in my opinion, are essential to growth of not only our technologies but others to remain competitive with the world. I don't think Iran is provoking us. I think Trump is using Iran as a diversion to keep our eyes off the ball, which really is Russia contaminating our election. Now, the new normal should not be the new normal. What Mueller said was the new norm should have been prosecuted months ago, if not years ago. Because they didn't act quickly and swiftly with Trump, now he feels vindicated, like he can get away with anything. And that's no different than what Hitler felt like when he moved from Chancellor to Führer of Germany. So in a way, this is a big, big problem. Hey, Bob, what's up? Hotel shampoo? You know, I haven't given my hair much thought today, so let me see what I got here. Yeah. Is this better? How's that? Is that? Yeah. It has a tendency to thin my hair when I go on these trips, and I think it's the chlorinated water that kind of. Yeah, it'll all come together in the wash, though. Yeah. Is that better, Bob? Bob's a little compulsive about my hair. Should I spray a little fruit enzyme on it, Bob, to make yourself feel better? Oh, it feels so good. I love these day spas I give myself with my fruit enzyme spray. Hey, so I met a lot of people today that were interested in finding out why we've been censored and how this is continues to move on despite the attacks. And I think they're getting to the point where they themselves are frustrated with the Democrats and the Republicans. And many people are leaning in the direction of the center. Thanks, Zeno, but you can't do that here. Thanks. That's considered spamming. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's nice to see it, but it is spamming. Yeah, the nuns have been prostitutes for the cardinals the whole time. Yeah, a lot of nun activity has gone unchecked. Cardinals raping nuns. Oh yeah. Hey, this is the big news today. Epstein was found unconscious. Remember I said that he'd probably be offed in jail? Well, today he was found unconscious with neck marks right around his neck, indicating struggle, and they don't know if it was somebody doing it to him or him trying to kill himself. They say he's on a suicide watch, but they could just say that because they want to, make it look like, oh, maybe he is going to kill himself. Yeah. There you go. So apparently rope marks were on his neck. He was found injured in jail earlier this week in what sources could be deemed a suicide attempt, an attack, or even a ploy to get a transfer. The money manager, who is accused of sexually abusing multiple underage girls, is being held in Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. Not exactly a nice place. Okay, we're on the right mic. Good. Well, that's the end of that story. I mean, let's just hope that this isn't a precursor of what could happen, which he'd be offed in jail. Now, the only way the people who he has dirt on can get off, because there's allegations that he may try to swing a plea agreement to, lay open all the different clients he's had for child pedophilia. If that's the case, then the only logical conclusion is for the mob to kill him, right? So chances are, I would say that he's going to be offed in jail. I hate to say it, but that's what it looks like. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen with this guy, because he has too much dirt on everybody. Yeah. It's a very weird situation that a guy like him is not given maximum security by Donald Trump. He doesn't want to do it because he'd look like he'd be helping him, but that's the best thing you can do to preserve the justice here. Yeah, I had to leave last night because of a VPN attack that was consistent. This is your last warning. Yeah, You got to get my name spelled right. Thank you. We were attacked. We're being attacked at various locations. I've had to use a few proxy servers to get around it. Yeah, we had to go through a few locations to get there. And I think many of you have to realize that I can't always do a show perfectly every night. I did upload the shortened version, though, to YouTube, so you can always check it out that night. Within a couple hours, I had it uploaded. Sure, yeah, I'd love to talk about the fractured Democratic Party during the upcoming election and alternative candidates, RT research, sure. Yeah, if you want, you can ask me questions during our show on the phone when I get back to my home studio. I missed a half an hour of last night. That's correct. Zeno, this is not helping. You're going to be ruling. It's like, yeah. So you want to see a little bit of him? Okay, here's Larry Sinclair about his relationship with Barack Obama in a limousine right outside the Comfort Inn in Gurnee, Illinois. I think you all want to see it, right? There we go. Okay, here you go. Here's your fix.
Where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
Yeah, let it be clear that I don't work with Russian television, nor will I, because of the contamination of the election. But I will answer general questions during my show if you call in and are a legitimate caller. We get a lot of people trying to fake their identity and try to call us in, and you know, it could be just a spoof. So you'd have to just call in during the show and then get a general answer for anything that comes my way. I'm not trying to do an authentic interview with RT. Only if I could dial you, perhaps, on when I get back off my trip right now. And only if I can dial you from Skype. Your number. Chemtrails have been causing a tremendous amount of weather change. Now, France had record temperatures of 109 degrees today. I'll be back home early August. It's been a long trip, and I must tell you, it's not easy traveling in this day and age, even with the finest hotel rooms. There's just always new traffic problems. I've been seeing people cut me off in traffic more than usual. Let's just put it that way. I'm 59 years old. I know I look young because I've obviously gotten into the groove of the harmony of humanity, and I'm coasting and surfing life's trials and tribulations a little easier than most. No, I'm 59. I don't drive under the speed limit in the left lane. No. But let's just say I'm riding the gravity that we're all experiencing here on Earth a little bit easier than most, simply because I understand it. I understand what it does to our body, and every one of my cells in my body has been re-engineered by my brain to respond with greater strength and resistance to infection and the vagaries of time. So by bracing yourself and kind of cinching and using your chi, your power in your center of your body, much like Bruce Lee did, I'm able to realign all my cells to constantly take over what it appears to be an onslaught of time and gravity. It's like I kind of get into my moment and I go, Mr. Anderson, I presume. I do my kata when I can. Today has been a walking day. Sarah and I have been walking everywhere. And I'm in the hot sun sometimes, and I have my hat on, or I put my hand over my head to guard myself. But then I wonder, is my hand getting affected by the sun? That's not helping, Zeno. Remember we talked about this? Yeah. Poor guy. He's gone mentally. I feel sorry for the guy. He's clearly mentally ill in some sort of way. I don't know. Okay, Trump plan would kick more than 3 million people off food stamps. Yep. Here it is. CBS News. In a plan that would kick millions of people from food stamps. Let's listen in.
West Coast training is a different kind of school. They give you lots of hands-on time on the equipment. That way
Department of Agriculture wants to change who qualifies for food stamps. The new proposal could cause millions of people to lose their benefits. It's the latest attempt by the Trump administration to cut back on the program. CBS News' Tom Hansen reports.
Deja Jones relies on food stamps just to get by.
I don't make enough to pay rent and be able to buy food to suffice me for like the whole entire month.
But requirements could soon be changing for the food stamp program known as the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP. Under current law, most states automatically make people eligible for food stamps if they meet requirements under another federal program called TANF. But under the proposal, income and assets would be reviewed to qualify for food stamps. The Agriculture Department expects the new rules would cut more than 3 million people from SNAP.
About 36 million people participate in SNAP. Anti-hunger advocates say this change will hurt the poorest Americans.
This proposal is lose-lose. It makes it harder for families to leave poverty and leave hunger while making sure that millions of Americans, including hundreds of thousands of American school kids, will go without food.
Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue defended the rule change, saying in a statement, "For too long, this loophole has been
Okay, so I was dealing with an attack on our show, folks. I just had to respond to that. I was just responding to the chat about the terrible situation with food stamps being denied Americans, when I think we should just go after people who are non-U.S. citizens collecting food stamps. Here Trump is cutting average Americans on welfare as opposed to illegal aliens who are getting food stamps right now. They do abuse the food stamp programs, that's right. Well, you have a thing about Meow, don't you? Hey, we got a lot of things going on. The reality is we were just attacked by a guy who keeps coming into the show named, well, who cares? I'm not going to even give you his name. But we're constantly being, attacked by these people, and I just want to get it on the same page here and make you realize that I'm doing the show despite all odds, okay? Yeah, everyone has to realize that. Now I'm going to go from Diego Garcia now directly to my new background, okay? So bear in mind, this is not a test. This is not a test of the American Broadcasting Association. Okay, let's take a look. Boom, there we are. This is where it all started, above the Chrysler Building here in New York, everybody. I've been keeping it on the QT that I am in New York, above the Chrysler Building, throughout the entire trip. Yes, on top of a large steeple. We don't know. We're still tracking the existence of this person in our show, so I don't want to give anybody who's illegal a food stamp. Yeah. Now, some people are U.S. citizens and deserve to be here, and others got in here illegally. I think that's pretty wrong that we would give food stamps to those people to say, oh yeah, come on in. You came in illegally. That's a good thing. Now you get food stamps. Trump could solve this a lot better if he just made Trump pizzas everywhere. What would be on a Trump pizza? I would say a lot of white flour, kind of like the fish stuff that he eats. Maybe throw some fish sticks on there, a Trump pizza. Pork, there'd be a ton of pork, massive amount of pork along with the fish sticks. And then pour a little Diet Coke all over it, just to kind of wet the dough down, and then fry it in the oven with microwaves and 5G radiation. And while you're at it, just don't worry about the pesticides and herbicides that are in it. Kind of sprinkle that on. If you could get like a shaker top of pesticides and herbicides, maybe Roundup would be good on top of that pizza. What would you characterize a Trump pizza? No regard for the environment, made out of plastic waste. It would be filled with plastic waste, right? Ice cream scoops of ranch dressing. The biggest amount of ranch dressing ever. Incredible amounts of ranch dressing. The blue cheese, I like that too. Well, the fact is, Donald Trump's got the Jewish vote wrapped up. He's a Zionist. And I believe that whoever takes over the Democratic Party will have the Muslim vote wrapped up. So we have to kind of lose those votes in the centrist perspective. Now, remember, only 45% of our country votes. That means 55% are potential voters for America's third party. If we could just get the people, the U.S. citizens that don't believe in anything to believe in me, I guarantee we'd win. Hands down, and we'd beat them all. And we can convince enough Democrats, Republicans that they need to leave and abort their party. I'm sorry, did I hurt some of you Republicans' feelings when I said the word abort their party? I figure that the best thing we can do right now is just get on our prayer bones and pray and work constantly. Slaving over the kitchen and prepare for the end. Maybe we should just pre-zip tie ourselves in the morning when we wake up, so that they just have to open our door and haul us out to the FEMA camps. We don't do cooking shows on our Thursday show. I'm so sorry. I know you had a great deal of expectations in this department, but we don't do that. Yeah, so not much is going on at iVlog. Ever since the censorship took over there, we've got 11 viewers, but not a lot of talkers, so we're just going to hang out with you iVloggers. I'll monitor the chat, but it seems like you're comatose. So no offense, but it's cool. Thursday is always the cooking show. If I showed you what I made tonight, you'd be shocked. It will return once I'm back from vacation, yeah. I'm not stopping the cooking show. But tonight I took pizza that we got at a pizza store, your typical New York pizza, cheese pizza, nothing on it. Yeah, that's sad in and of itself. When you find 3 pieces of cheese pizza and you split it, and then you've got broken bacon from our breakfast bar, which I happen to have. I chopped it up and threw it in there. Yeah, so the bacon cheese pizza we had tonight. And I had some marinating green beans and some snap peas that I fried up, somehow made something out of it. So we got our vegetable, our little bit of protein with the cheese and the bacon. Yeah, thank you. No, iVlog censors everybody in our show, you idiot. You're such an idiot. I'm gonna kick you out of the show because you're such an idiot. iVlog has nothing but idiots over there. Well, there's a couple people who aren't idiots, obviously. If Scissor Fight, he came in, and that one guest, you're not an idiot. And I don't know if you guests are idiots over there watching me, but you don't talk a lot. That's the important thing. Well, it was a really nice pan-fried pizza, reheated to make it taste even better. And it was a 4-cheese pizza, too. Had a great Parmesan cheese. But I'm not here to talk about the pizza. Unless, of course, you really want to. Wild Bob, what are you saying? 2020 you lost? Well, you reheat the pizza on a pan. That's how you do it. I didn't expect to eat that. I had to eat that. Yeah. It was a requirement. It was, what else are you going to do when, you're day working hard, and you come home and you don't have much in the refrigerator. This is the life of almost everybody in America, and I had a taste of that today. I'm trying to live a kind of a hybrid Amish life. Yeah, where I'm at times, very ascetic and stay away from, unprocessed or processed foods and fast food. And then I fall into the category of, bacon is a high source of niacin, and pork is certainly, one of those superfoods. So why not throw that on the pizza, David, why do you spray that fruit spray on your face over 3 times this show? Because I feel my face is dehydrating. I am currently running dryers throughout the entire processor to maintain flow. Boris is a joke. Yeah, they say he's lazy and he doesn't have any idea how to do what he's going to do. He's basically all talk, no action. That's what Boris is. And in about 6 months, we'll realize what a bore Boris really is. Yeah, it's a hybrid Amish life. Well, Amish is, I respect the work. I was telling Sarah today that, how many groups of people, white people especially, can raise children in very low income and situations. Because they literally work in the fields, and it's amazing. I have a lot of respect for Amish people. And Mennonites. Let's not keep the Mennonites out of that. They're a little bit more into technology, though. They're seen with walking around their iPhones. But the fact is, how else are white people going to have children unless they become Mennonites or Amish, when you think about it? Please, don't talk about sex in the show. This is strictly a political show. I'm going to give you one last chance to change your ways. Yes, I've duplicated Boris Johnson's hair tonight. It was difficult, but I managed to get the hair to look just like Boris Johnson. Yes. It's very moldable, my hair. It's got great potential, much like his, but I consider my hair slightly more agile and flexible at the same time. I have a little more kink in my kinky, if you know what I mean. You don't know it. You don't even know what kinky is. Kinky to you is just sitting down eating French fries with your wife. Okay. There you go. Let's take a look. I think I've got a perfect match. Yeah, sir, I think I did it. Tonight I was working on the perfect hairdo for Boris Johnson. And sure enough, I nailed it. He's the new Prime Minister of England.
Oh yes, that's true. I do know who that is.
Yes. Unlike Boris Johnson, my hair is superior. Yes. Jolly old great thing we're doing here, though. The Brexit's working fantastic. Yeah, he'll have his hands full. Until he props up the Bank of England against the vagaries of foreign investors, they're not going to be able to get Brexit off the ground, in my opinion. But here, I'm not here to tell them how to run their country. They certainly haven't run our country very well. You're still into that kinky word? You got to lose that addiction to the word kinky. Yes, Boris has taken on Trump's attitude toward Khan. I know how you feel. I read that the other day. I don't have a hatred toward Muslims like you do, Dr. Meow. I look at Ilhan Omar and say she needs to be prosecuted for marrying her brother. But I don't hate Muslims. So Trump is giving her a free ride. He hasn't issued a Justice Department or an ICE attack or a complaint on her citizenship. So why is it Trump is allowing Ilhan Omar to continue without being prosecuted? Because there's more than enough evidence that she's married her brother. I mean, he's gay, by the way, so don't think there's any kinky things going on there. But she just loves him so much that she married her brother, and she doesn't understand why, that should be a problem, apparently. It's improper to marry a brother and then claim make him a U.S. citizen. I mean, that's a gross violation of U.S. citizenship law. But why should that affect Donald Trump? I mean, heck, it didn't affect his wife, right? No, it's not racist to say anything like that. Not at all. When we saw Melania lie about her history as she claimed she had a bachelor's degree in architecture. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Yeah, architecture. So she's an architect. Sure.
Was the architect of the Capitol?
No. Melania claims she studied architecture and got a bachelor's degree. She wrote it on her citizenship paper. It's in legal documents. That's lying, flat out. Okay, hello, ICE. Where do I go to report an immigrant who is working here illegally before obtaining a fraudulent visa, had an anchor baby, brought her family here through chain migration, and who's currently living in a government-funded housing and receiving free government health care? Yeah, so if you want to call out Omar, you better call out Melania. That's why Donald Trump hasn't prosecuted Melania or Ilhan Omar, because he doesn't want anyone to prosecute Melania. I mean, isn't that pretty obvious? Or Donald Trump is just a puppet for the deep state and they want to keep Ilhan Omar as a scapegoat for the Muslim community. Your choice. I'm not here to talk about the woman. I respect women, and I certainly respect all women, including Omar. I do. But I don't think it's proper to lie about your citizenship and try to be a U.S. citizen, let alone a representative from Dearborn, Michigan. So, I have a great idea. I know this is going to be something you Trump-tards will love and you libtards will hate. But it is kind of an answer to our problems. Are you ready? These are creative ideas from Dave. That's right. I am an American original, as you know. David Sponheim, an American original. That's what I put on the text here, and you're going to have to read it. Read it and weep. Okay, here's the idea. Yeah. I'm going to, as president, take all the people who have come into our country who are deportees that we could easily deport and offer them sanctuary cities in Dearborn, Michigan. How do you think that would work out for the Muslims? Bring on the Spanish, the South Americans, the Ecuadorians. Yeah, just give them all Dearborn, Michigan. What it will do essentially is it'll neutralize any of the problems we're having with the Muslim community taking over. Isn't that a great idea? And you know, a lot of those illegal aliens, they're going to want to vote too in Dearborn, Michigan. Okay, I just thought I'd throw it out there. Anyway, you Trump-tards must like it because we deal with a problem Trump can't deal with concentration camps. Thank you, True Blue. You Democrats will like it because we're offering sanctuary cities for everybody. Ooh. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Let's not talk about hurting them. I want to give everyone a little respect, even though they may not deserve it. I'll tell you, I get no respect. Do you think it's okay to yell "send her back"? I think it's not racist to say that. I would never say that. I would never yell that, but I don't consider it racism. Racism is what the Democrats do when they didn't want to sign the Civil Rights Act, and it literally had to get Republicans to pass that bill. Racism is the kind of thing that the Democrat George Wallace did when he didn't allow black people in to get an education. So the real racists are the Democrats who've been calling everybody a racist all these years to cover their white guilt ass. Okay? I'm just telling it like it is, man. And I know a lot of Democrats that are, just like Hillary said, all blacks look alike, which is a terrible thing to say. Now, I had the opportunity today to shake the hand of a very nice black man. Yes. And I would like to say to the black community that I will not only shake your hand, but I will give you a high five and say, yo, what's going on, man? But no, seriously, I don't have a problem meeting the Black Caucus at least once a month, talk about the issues of inner city problems, really focus on getting solutions, stop the BS with Obama and Trump and all that crap that you people have been dealing with. You people, as in obviously the Black Caucus. Okay, so that's some difference right there between myself and Trump. He hardly ever meets the Black Caucus. Okay, let's be you guys just run with these words I throw out there. I love it. You just love to eat those words up, don't you? No, Sarah's going to be working tonight. She's taking on her role as an Amish wife, even though she's not married.
Do you want me to come with the show?
No, I'd be willing to. No, if you want, I can do the ironing and all that while you're doing the show. But
That's fine.
If you can lay it out for me, I can do some of that. I'm good. I'm a good
I
iron.
did all yours, so now you can do all mine. No, it's just kidding.
No, that would be great. You literally have done all mine. That's awesome. Yeah, we ran into a problem with it. One of our.
Or you could go and see if something's available.
No, that's too difficult.
I know. I agree. I'm just gonna go for it.
We love you, Sarah. Hope you enjoy the pizza. That's that kind of
I
rhymes.
enjoyed the pizza, I think. Yeah.
It was good. It was really good. You know, I don't mind when you take a piece of pizza and put it on a pan with butter on it, a little garlic, and just put it on low and let it slow.
Reheating.
It's like a slow reheat, and it kind of crisps up the back end, but don't burn it. What the hell? What the hell's wrong with you, Guest 720? You are really got a political problem. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remove. What did you just? I can't believe what this guy just said. Yeah, garlic is good for cleaning the pores. Helps your blood too. Pot rails. I only had one slice, and I plan on regurgitating it. In that my hydrogen generator is not working properly. I'm in cool down mode. I ain't coming to DC, man. I'm not going there. Jab talking. No, I can't play the Bee Gees right now. I'm so sorry. Robo Dave, welcome to the show. Hello, welcome to Interactive Dave. I am live, virtual, and ready to talk. How are you today? Really want to come to DC? You know, if I came to DC, I'd have to have full expenses paid, and that would mean I can't stay in some crappy hotel like the Trump Hotel. I want something nicer, you know. Okay. Marijuana study finds that CBD can cause liver damage. Forbes. You know, I'm not going to go with that concept because I think it's just preliminary studies, and they haven't had any peer-reviewed studies on that. I can't even take that as legitimate. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't buy it. Not when they're sticking Roundup up your ass and they're saying, oh, there's no carcinogenic effect whatsoever when you stick Roundup up your ass. Well, actually, we're eating Roundup, so no, we're not exactly sticking it up our ass. We're actually ingesting it. Yeah, 99% of the world's, the Europeans are pissing Roundup right now. Luckily for us, only 93% of America is pissing Roundup. To use it.
More times you can as well.
Well, as you know, my memory can store up to 68,000. Nice. Bytes per second.
Okay. You come here for wholesome conversation. Well, now that I'm on the room, you can have wholesome conversation. Wholesome. We're going to talk about some. Wait. Wholesome. Now you got me confused. Isn't some part of a whole? And you want whole, or do you want some? Wait. Did I explain? No. You just leave that like that.
For
the
how long?
other thing.
Grab another thing to work on? Well, that's
Yep.
good.
Exactly.
I got you. Boy, I like your system. I just had to get the hang of it. Hold, please.
Yeah. Well, first, yeah. Never mind. All right. My English is generally accurate. True. Hello, Scissor Fight. How's everything going in your lands? My land is going really well. And then go get that, and you can work on that.
What about this?
That hangs up in there to replace.
It's a system.
Yes, I was trying to explain it. All right. Talk about mosquitoes. Well, look, my hand is finally healed from the mosquitoes. I think you can see a tiny remnant, but not really. So I'm finally done with the mosquitoes. I've got to get back to Washington State.
There's something else.
And then
I'm gonna move this slightly.
I gotta get back to Washington State. So, and then the thing about what's nice about Washington State is there is hardly any mosquitoes. I can do it too later if you want to get coffee or something.
Oh, I'm good. I just love doing this.
Isn't it lovely?
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. It's kind of like watching Mr. Rogers. It's very relaxing. Sometimes I'm very
Let's just
relaxed.
get rid of you for now.
When I have some fun.
London first, Washington second, Paris third. Is there a London, like Connecticut maybe? And then Paris, California? And then Washington? No. Yeah. Whatever that means. Stormy
I'll do these
Daniels.
pants, then I'll go on and get my coffee.
Okay. And then just leave them and I'll check them.
Yeah, good. I like doing this.
Yeah, see, I don't even leave anything up. I just put it flat on the other
Oh,
one.
I hear you. I got your point. Yeah.
I know. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm with you. There's no downtime with you.
No downtime.
No
No
downtime.
downtime is allowed at all.
Everything's always
You have
busy,
fire
busy,
ant
busy.
bites all over your hands. Why did you get into...
What happened?
How did you get the fire ants on your hands? What were you doing messing in the fire ant nest, digging around in that? Because you keep repeating the same things, that's why you're banned. And especially if you're repeating something I'd rather not talk about. I mean, obviously... No, I don't like you talking in that language, Drag King. Well, I would teach all educational guidelines, yes. And then also teach more. Especially teach students to learn to question things and find out the answers on their own. And not just Google.
Yeah.
Have experiences, those kinds of things. I thought I was always intellectual, not just tonight. Virtual politics, but you might have a point. All right. You had to carry a load of bricks filled with fire ants. I am so sorry, Reptoid. Is it burning? You need some of that anti-itch cream. That is very good. That's really good. Exactly. I'm not trying. I just am that way. I don't really want to click your link either, True Blue, so I'm not going to. Well, after getting mosquito bites, I did anti-itch cream. Maybe I'll try David's fruit enzyme spray.
Fruit enzyme. Oh, no. You don't like that feeling.
No, I don't.
No, don't ever do anything you don't like.
That's how lovely I feel right now.
Don't ever do that. Please.
Yes, I'm sure it is different. Okay. All right. I know it's odd to have a teacher broadcasting or something like that, but especially, I really do care about this country. I care about this country. I care about the people. I care about Americans. Sometimes politics, I don't really want to get into it. I don't really do that. Old Washington, a new town coming to the UK. Why not? I'm also watching The Hunger Games Catching Fire. I never saw that one before,
We need some more food.
but I'm watching it in closed captioning. This one.
Yeah, you could just hand me that bowl. Thank
Okay.
you so much. I know that's. And every time I come in, I move this down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's the thing.
Okay.
Yes. David said I don't like bubble gum, and I don't like bologna, and I don't like undercooked eggs, and there's a couple other things I don't like. Sometimes I do have but I'm not that picky, I don't think, but maybe I am a little picky. But there definitely are children out there that's way more pickier than me. Actually, I eat some nightshades. I love tomatoes and peppers. I was trying to avoid nightshades because I was getting like an allergic reaction on my hands, and I thought it had to do with nightshades, but now I realize it's something else. Real Sarah's with David. But I'm not a big fan of potatoes. We met online. That's how the huge age gap between David and I happened. We met online. Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's pretty funny because we just saw a couple of our friends and they have an age difference between them as well. And their age difference is not quite as significant as David and I, but pretty significant, like 12 years and we're 18 years.
Okay, can you set that down for her?
Yes.
She'll get there eventually.
I know. It's fine. Oh, we're feeding the cat.
I got the coffee.
Okay.
I'll be here in just a second.
No, I mean, that didn't really... I mean, I met David. I did take precautions. That's true. I took certain precautions, like meeting David in a public place. I was talking to a fellow teacher today, and she was saying how, we have... So many people think, like, because we have so much access to social media and the internet news, then people think that, like, oh, they're worried about letting their kids be alone anywhere, but our kids are actually probably safer than they ever have been before. You'll be patiently waiting for the cooking show when David returns. Thank you.
Okay. I am going to take over the show.
Yeah.
I'll take a break. And thank you.
No.
No.
What?
Not tonight. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Explain that to her.
I thought you did. I got.
Okay, hang on a second.
I got it.
We have audio again? Okay, good. I had to make some coffee, and I only made 1 cup, so I'm good. Yeah, this is, Dave, take it easy time. Technology Thursday should be just kicking back and talking about politics, I think. We don't need to get all, wrapped up in the ridiculous comment crap that the mainstream media talks about. This is not a Frankenstein hairdo, I told you. Hang on. There we go. And better? I'm telling you, it's somehow I got a, kind of the dry look going out here. And the motels, the shampoos have not been 100%. I got to admit, it's been kind of a rough shampooing experience. And the conditioners never work at these places, so. How's that, better? Thanks. Okay. I got you. Dave, you are addicted to caffeine. I prefer not to call it addiction because I could easily quit with projectile vomiting for 2 days. So that's ridiculous. It's not like I'd get delirium tremors like if I was an alcoholic like you. Yeah, we saw you have footage of you buying Ripple wine at the Beverly Hills liquor store down the street. We know that you're hooked on it. No, I'm just taking some time away from the work, the stress of daily life. Yeah, I looked like Boris Johnson with this hairdo. Well, thank you, Bengalitis. He swears coffee has helped to maintain his bowel movements. Mueller testifies Russia had blackmail on Trump. Seriously, this didn't arrive in the mainstream media when we talked about it last. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Scissor Fight has a bombshell story here. Thank you, Scissor Fight. I've been waiting for this kind of stuff because the BS that they push in the mainstream media is not what's really going on. Mueller didn't even remember when Jared Kushner had actually discussed with a Russian oligarch the sale of his property at 666 Fifth Avenue. What happened? What is that?
Tissues.
Oh, tissues, right. Oh, God.
That's what that is.
That doesn't get any weirder than that. Thank you.
Lovely.
Mueller testifies Russia had blackmail on Trump. Are you serious? This is like game-changing information, and it's not even taken seriously.
Actually, Comey said that in his book.
They had blackmail on Trump?
Yes, about the Russians had the issue about him doing things with
the dossier.
Russian prostitutes.
Right, Russian prostitutes, yeah.
That's what the Russians had on it, and they took it. They knew it was going to leak to the press, and they told him.
Okay.
But he just kind of blew it. He's like, "Oh no, never." He basically denied it, but
yeah. We got a real problem with Trump. The most interesting and newsworthy portion of Robert Mueller's 6 hours of testimony before the House yesterday came in the final 2 exchanges of the day. Long after the narrative was set, national media had grown bored. In those 10 minutes, Mueller confirmed that Russia had blackmailed leverage over Donald Trump during the 2016 campaign. They also found out that Trump actually completely knew that the Russians had rigged our election and was okay with it. So Trump really is okay with taking political information about his enemies or Hillary or anything if they want to take over the entire political process. He had total approval of that, which is very interesting. So now they're calling it the new norm. Now back to the story. The Mueller report states that it was a criminal investigation, not a counterintelligence probe. And if Moscow has leverage over a presidential candidate, that is not a crime. How is that not a crime? That's a huge problem. Illinois Democrat Raja Krishnamurthy opened the line of inquiry by getting Mueller to offer the counterintelligence findings probably were made in the FBI and that the counterintelligence goals of our investigation were secondary to any criminal wrongdoing that we could find. I mean, this guy we're talking about espionage, Russian controlling him using blackmail, and Mueller didn't find that a problem. He calls it the new norm. Russia agreed that the question of whether Russian oligarchs engaged in money laundering through any of the president's businesses possibly strongly suggested by numerous journalists who have studied Trump's finances, was outside his purview. So that's why he didn't bother to investigate Paul Manafort and all the money laundering that he did with Trump with real estate and Russian oligarchs buying real estate at triple the price. He says it was outside his purview. This is beyond belief. This man has stood in the way of justice, has not engaged as a special prosecutor. He's inept. As some people say, he didn't even know what was going on. They just kept him in the background as a guy who signed off on papers. Now we're beginning to believe that the whole Mueller appointment was a complete buyout by the deep state, that's my opinion, to stall and let Trump casually move forward toward the 2020 election. This is beyond belief. I mean, our country is literally under the control of Russians. Wow. He looks like Mr. Rogers, all the older version, right? Thanks for that really good story, Scissor Fight. That's great. Now, another one's coming up that he has provided. Thank you. Russia had targeted the U.S. with unprecedented... Yeah, here it is again. Here we go again. Russia targeted 2016 state elections with unprecedented level of activity, Senate Intel report says. Unbelievable.
Is meddling in the 2020 election right now. He made the remark during his second hearing yesterday with the House Intelligence Committee.
Analysts say Mueller appeared stronger and more at ease during this hearing as opposed to the first one earlier in the day with the House Judiciary Panel. He called for more coordination between federal agencies to combat foreign interference in U.S. elections.
In your investigation, did you think that this was a single attempt by the Russians to get involved in our election, or did you find evidence to suggest they'll try to do this again?
No, it wasn't a single attempt. They're doing it as we sit here. And they expect to do it during the next campaign.
All right, so CBS News intelligence and national security.
So this is the new norm now. This is the new norm now. You see what a turncoat Mueller is? I've said it all the time. Yeah. And he just bought 3 years of time, wasted our time. And now the Democrats are so weak and invalid as a party. Impotent, not important, impotent as a party, that we have to struggle with this lame duck Democratic Party who thinks in their mind that they got elected in the midterms to support amnesty or to come up with Medicare for all, when no one wants to see these ridiculous programs or have immigrants pour into our borders. I mean, the Democrats couldn't be more off base that they ever tried. They were elected in the midterms to impeach. That's what the American people want. All right, well, thanks so much for your links there, Scissor Fight. Those were awesome. Yeah, before we didn't really have anything to talk about except bombshell. Oh, this was a good one last week. Remember this? Bombshell: top secret locations of 150 U.S. nukes hidden in Europe are accidentally leaked in a NATO report, sparking major security fears. Yeah, that was the Sun, though. We don't know if it's accurate or not. But yeah, they apparently leaked these sites, and I don't know if these locations are accurate either. Yeah. And you know, that would be a real big mistake if this top secret report were leaked. A draft version of a document entitled A New Era for Nuclear Deterrence, Modernization, Arms Control, and Allied Nuclear Forces was published earlier this year. Well, with Donald Trump, engaging in taking or getting bribed and blackmailed by Russia, and them stealing secrets through Michael Flynn, and to this day we still haven't seen a review of all the Michael Flynn's activities for 24 days in the White House. And we've got an Attorney General, William Barr, who wrote a 19-page letter in defense of Michael Flynn not to investigate him, even though he was a Russian agent, and apparently we find out now. So we got a William Barr working for Russia, our Attorney General. We got Michael Flynn handing over secrets. We've got Russia bribing the president to do whatever, or blackmailing him to do whatever. And yet our own leaders who are supposed to do their job say it's not within their purview. This is pretty weird stuff, I gotta tell you. To have all these cards on the table and nobody playing the game is even weirder. I mean, there's so many things they could easily prosecute Trump on and indict him on, yet the press plays it all down like, oh no, there's no impeachable offenses, blah, blah, blah. And our media is being manipulated by somebody who doesn't want an investigation into this connection to Donald Trump. That's what's going on. The people that run the media, the Zionist elitists, or whoever they are, just don't want to bring this story to a crest because it will essentially expose their hand. Anita, what's happening? Anita can't get in the show or something? Hello, I'm trying to get in the room if I don't freeze and stop. I know, Anita, we're all being attacked here. You're not the only one. I have had numerous problems getting into the show tonight. No, I don't take songs during this political hour because we are monetized. All these shows are recorded on YouTube. What kind of a statement is that? Federal government's going to resume capital punishment after nearly a 2-decade lapse. And, you know, this is the only good thing I have to say about William Barr. Yeah, is that he's taking my idea and working with it. Yeah, I think that one's not going to pop up. That's going to need a tiny URL, scissor fight. Yeah, apparently, yeah, William Barr is taking my advice to prosecute federal criminals with the death penalty. Thank you. And that's why I've always considered myself right on this one, because I'm Mr. Right. That's right. Barr too, but of course, yeah. I hope he steals more of my ideas, because that's a good idea.
You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. My world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Yeah. The presidential speech is underway every night. Basically, there's a whole new trend in Washington, D.C. It's to make all of the edifices unaccessible. So Honest Abe is flipping us off right now. Apparently, every single Democrat out there is beginning to hate all the slave owners and anyone who supported slavery. So there's a whole undertow of Obama Democrats who are still sitting in D.C. that won't really allow people to look at anybody who owns slaves. So when people go to find, like the Lincoln Memorial, it's hard to get to it. It's almost impossible now. If you want to read about the freedoms and the freedom of slavery, you have to go to the African American museums. Yeah, seriously. And every other museum is talking about slavery now too. So apparently Jefferson was a slave owner. Heck, they all were slave owners. Monroe was a slave owner. Madison was a slave owner. All the architects of our great nation who supported democracy at that time are now being nullified in D.C. Yeah, they're no longer accessible. Thomas Jefferson Memorial is locked out. You can't get to it. You can look inside from a distance, but nobody was allowed in. And apparently this is to suppress freedom and democracy, and to shun any statue that may have a slave owner in it. So it's almost bizarre how Trump is allowing this to go on in the city of Washington, D.C., without caring one bit about freedom of speech. Of course, why would he care about freedom of speech? You know, he's already secured control over the media by just tweeting nonsense and getting nothing but free play because of all of his mob connections. I mean, what does he care about free speech, right? Yeah, Abe is flipping off Trump, who's saluting him, in case you're wondering what that was. You see Trump down at the bottom? That's Trump and Melania saluting him. And Scissor Fight was trying to clarify that's Abe flipping him off. All right, thank you. But I had something to say too, and I thought it was important. It's very difficult to get to see Lincoln Memorial now. It's almost impossible. Unless you're from China on a junket, you're not going to be able to see it. Yeah. They only allow Chinese to come in and look at the Lincoln Memorial now. It's kind of sad. Hey, here's a story we should look at. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, the 6 to 8 show is a tight format. Yeah, I can only bring in so much during the show. Federal government's going to resume capital punishment after nearly 2-decade lapse. Attorney General William Barr directs the Federal Bureau of Prisons to adopt an addendum to the Federal Execution Protocol and schedule the executions of 5 death row inmates convicted of murdering children. All right. Thank you, William Barr, for doing something credible. Good. Well, I've been asking for the reinstatement of the death penalty in federal crimes for years. This is a good sign. Thanks for that, Scissor Fight. Well, let's be clear. Obama likes to give it to Michael in the rear. Now, I heard that was the opposite. I heard that Michael was the pitcher and Barack was the catcher. Okay. Obama's getting caught. Oh, I saw that. That's old news. Virtual politics. Yes, it's very old when he's stuck in in Ireland. Do you think Mueller was drugged? I think Mueller was a deep state player from the beginning. Remember, Mueller was the guy that signed off in the 9/11 Commission report. He totally is in the clutches of the deep state. They're protecting Trump because they are using Russia to control him. You see, they had to find the Zionist elitists around the world had to find a way to control our politicians. And they found that Russia was the best viable solution. And the Russian oligarchs control Russia, and they're Zionists, so what do they care? And controlling us from within is exactly their plan all along, right? That's just sick, Yeah. Fox now Napolitano says Trump has changed He has unleashed a torrent of hatred. Well, that's going to be interesting. I like Judge Napolitano on many levels. He's a friend of Trump's, but he's also one of his strongest critics. And I want to thank him for doing that. Thank you, Judge Napolitano, for trying your hardest to expose the dark side of Trump. Yeah, let's take a look. He's unleashed a torrent of hatred. Wow. Okay. Fox News legal analyst Andrew Napolitano lamented that President Donald Trump is a changed man in a new op-ed, accusing his old friend of unleashing a torrent of hatred. I've known Trump personally since 1986. The private Trump I've known is funny, charming, embracing. That's not the public Trump of today, Napolitano wrote in a story. When he loudly called for 4 members of Congress, women of color, who opposed nearly all his initiatives and who have questioned his fitness for office, to go back to the places from which they came, he unleashed a torrent of hatred. Well, that's true. The Democrats will hate anybody. They're kind of like piranha picking on a bone until it's bone dry. Napolitano's piece begins with an examination of the America love it or leave it mantra, uttered by supporters of the Vietnam War. As an undergraduate of Princeton, Napolitano writes he uttered the phrase but now renounces it. Well, Judge Napolitano, he also takes hair plugs to cover his bald spot. So should we really take this guy seriously? I mean, I like the guy, but if he doesn't agree with me, I don't like him as much. David, what are you saying? the clones are replacing the big wig theory? I don't think so. Okay, I think we've covered a lot of stories tonight. But I'm going to broadcast longer tonight than I did last night. So thank you very much. I was only on for an hour and a half last night. So I'm going to give the full 2 hours tonight. I know. Thank you. Not really. What I plan on doing is I'm going to tie all the clothing to my body and do a dance.
Well, I'm just going to go ride an elevator.
Well, we'll do that together. Yeah, we had a problem with finding dryers at our hotel. When we first started the wash, it was like, oh, no problem. There's so many available. Shouldn't be no big deal. Oh, look at the dryers. There's plenty available. They're free, too. So we put the load in the wash. We come back 30 minutes later. Not one dryer.
And there's 3 floors with laundry.
There's 3 floors with laundry all
there's
stacked
5
up.
dryers in the building.
That's right. That's what happens when you stay at a prison, just to save money. I'm just kidding. It's a nice hotel. I shouldn't say that. What do you have there? Record 61,000 children surge over the border. They're coming with their families or with their mules or coyotes. In fact, the immigrants have found that by carrying children over, they have a better chance of staying in the country. So they're hiring children. Human trafficking is encouraged by Trump's policy of zero tolerance. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's the exact opposite of what you expect. Now, most of the people coming into the country now are illegal families, forcing children to just skyrocket in numbers. 61,000 migrant children surge over the border. 230 million spent for snacks, diapers, and baby formula. I don't know, that sounds a little like they're getting taken care of properly. I've been hearing that they get handy wipes, packets, and the kids don't have proper formula. A record 61,000 unaccompanied migrant children have surged over the U.S.-Mexican border and been handed for federal care facilities since October. Wow. The number tops the total for fiscal year 2016. Well, you know, the typical Congress, they just want to pass the buck and say, well, we're going to work on a new immigration bill next year, so hopefully we'll get to that. Oh, you know. Meanwhile, they pork barrel spend all this other crap lobbed into their super bills. What, Obama passed one that was 1,250 pages long? David, how do you find a woman like Sarah in 2019?
I don't know.
No, I know exactly how to do it. Become Amish or Mennonite, because they'll accept you in as a Mennonite, but Amish are very tight.
I don't know, you have to learn German, though.
You have to learn German or some Scandinavian language. I am not. No, there's no albino face tonight. I'm in a typical compact fluorescent light hotel. Now, I normally don't carry 5 or 6 LED lights around with me to replace the compact fluorescents that are around me, so I have to put up with the dirty energy whenever I go to these hotels. I have the right hair to become president or prime minister. It's not about... I look very healthy. You guys don't understand what dirty energy is? Let me explain. Better yet, let me not explain.
Yeah, well, no, I don't want to know.
Well, I don't really want you to. I don't want anyone to find out the truth because, you know, then I'd be giving you too much information. No, seriously. Dirty energy is emitted when field energy is created by inefficient energy systems like compact fluorescent light bulbs. They create aberrant wave patterns when the mercury hits the light. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. I didn't even pull that one off properly. Okay, let me change the color saturation a little bit. Brightness down. Yeah, you can't tell it's that bad. I'll change the contrast a little bit, lighten it up, drop the gain, decrease sharpness. Now I look 10 years younger. See how easy that was? The power of changing all the parameters. Yeah. I would never steal towels from a hotel, but you're entitled to take the little soaps. I mean, come on, you're paying over $100 a night. In some cases, $180 a night. So why wouldn't you want to take that stuff? Do you think you're better looking than Boris Johnson? Do I think that? No, I know that. Yeah, it's $180 a night where we're staying. No, it's not frugal because Sarah's paying for it. It is frugal because Sarah's paying for it.
I love when you say, yeah, I would stay in such and such place.
But I can't afford it. 16 Camp Pendleton Marines arrested by NCIS for allegedly human smuggling and drug offenses. You know, these Marines are just not as trustworthy as the Army, you know what I mean? I trust people around me when I'm surrounded by Army.
I trust the Army. If I'm surrounded by Marines, I trust you.
I trust. You're making me laugh. That's not supposed to happen. This is a very strange moment. I actually laughed at something Sarah said. I'm like in a state of shock. She's normally not this funny. Maybe I have to get you to the point where you're.
Maybe I just don't talk, and then you don't realize I'm not funny all the time.
Maybe you're funny in your own mind, but I don't get in on it because you really let out a really good one there. I almost lost my teeth. They almost flew out just now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, if that happens on camera, I have to edit the entire piece. Naval Criminal Investigation Service carried out a mass arrest for 16 Marines Thursday morning during a battalion formation aboard Camp Pendleton, California. The Marines were arrested for allegations related to various illegal activities, from human smuggling to drugs, the Marine Corps said in a press release. Wow, this is pretty big. You know, I hope our military is self-policing like this more and more. I like this. Another 8 Marines were questioned about their involvement in unrelated drug offenses. Wow. Apparently, the Corps said that none of the Marines questioned or detained have been supporting military operations at the U.S.-Mexico border. Okay, so they're not shipping or transferring human beings. That's happening by Border Patrol. Marines are completely guilt-free on that one. Nothing to worry about. Border Patrol's got the human trafficking down pat. Yeah. That's right, Mr. E said, I almost lost my teeth. They almost flew out just now. I know. Well, I decided my press-on veneers needed to actually take on a new shape, so I'm trying to remove them slowly, one by one. So every day I clip off some of my veneers until I'm down to just 2. Just kind of cutting off each edge. Hey, thanks for the virtual content tonight, Dave. I will wish you well onwards with the show. Onwards with the show. Thanks, Virtual Politics, for coming in.
Actually, that's pretty good.
That's awesome. You know, I'm not going to have anything in the $180 hotel suite. All I can do is hope that I can watch the Home Shopping Network. No, actually, my big thing is I watch HGTV when I go to
watch David.
Thank you. I watch Home and Garden TV because I get a chance to watch the Property Brothers, who try to, you know, help people realize their dream by buying cheaper houses and building what they want. It's Sarah's favorite show, and I think it's a good show. It is. I see all the shows on Home and Garden TV now, and the unique thing about that show is every single scene throughout the day is different because you're always shooting a different house, right? I don't think they're fake at all. Are you ruining my illusion about Home and Garden TV? This room doesn't have a vibrating bed. Those went out of style back in 1975.
I don't think they exist.
They still do exist in a couple hotels. But they're dives. They have the 25-cent machines. I mean, you could pay like $40 for one of those hotels now. Dave, HGTV is for homos and gays. Well, count me in as a hetero. I like Home and Garden TV.
Oh, well, it's also for heteros whose wives and girlfriends make them watch it, like me.
I don't mind watching it because Sarah loves it. And I love what Sarah loves. I am a robot, and I do whatever Sarah says.
That's right. But, yeah, you're my everything.
Would you like a back rub? Would you like a foot rub? Would you like me to make you a dinner? Dave, that's so bad. No, I'll tell Sarah what to do and she does it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm an alpha omega male. That's right. You guys are really weak on ego. You don't even know who you are. Yeah, I wear the pants. But Sarah wears the dresses. And she's okay with that. We're not a transgender couple. We're a normal heterosexual couple. Laura and I never did that. Well, I think we've reached the pinnacle of BS where Mueller says the new norm is for our country to allow political opponents to gather information from other countries that want to sabotage our nation. So the new norm is for presidents to commit espionage. The new norm is for presidents to be blackmailed by countries, which now we know that Trump is being blackmailed. And he doesn't really want to stop that. Mueller doesn't.
When you said blackmailed, I was like, yeah, what's wrong with another color female by countries?
Yeah. I don't want to sound racist, but Trump was blackmailed by Russia. Okay. I know. I'm throwing that word blackmail out.
Nobody's been females, huh?
And no white male either. No females. Well, Trump may have had sex relations, urination may have gone on, because there was a reference to this. Mueller has admitted now that Trump was blackmailed. Yeah. This is a breaking story that Scissorfight brought us today, and I think it's very important that we look at this reality. That's perhaps one of the most striking stories coming out of the Intelligencer. We brought this up just a few minutes ago. Mueller testified Russia had blackmailed on Trump. Isn't this shocking? I'm blown away. Yep. And this story just came in. Let me recap. Russia targeted the 2016 state elections with unprecedented level of activity. Senate Intel reports. So, and Trump also, this was revealed, Trump knew that Russia was rigging the election during the election. That's also been revealed as a fact. And just like I said, yep, here's the video. Jeffrey Mueller has had nearly escaped a suicide attempt, or maybe they just roughed him up and put neck marks on him, getting him ready for suicide. But the likelihood of Jeffrey Epstein killing himself in jail, I put it at 99.9% at this point.
Wait, what? The likelihood of him
Jeffrey Epstein killing himself in jail is,
or at least as reported by the media.
As
he might have not killed himself.
Oh yeah, he'll be killed. Yeah, they'll string him up, is what I'm saying.
Prison, definitely.
I would say the likelihood of him dying in prison at this point is 99.9%, because there's no way he's going to get out to tell anybody about all the pedophiles that have been to Orgy Island. You got Bill Clinton, alleged pedophile. Hillary Clinton, alleged pedophile. Seriously. Oh, you've got all kinds of, even Dershowitz finally admitted that that girl, Virginia Roberts, gave him a back rub. That was admitted testimony this week. Oh yeah, so none of that stuff will grow from there. It'll just be, they'll push it down, and then they'll get rid of Epstein. 99.9% guaranteed. Yeah. That's what I believe. I'm not betting on it. I hope nothing bad happens to anybody. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. But I believe that they'll kill him and make it look like a suicide. That's the point. I'm asking you. Now it's been confirmed that Alan Dershowitz, this old guy who's 80, had his body rubbed by a 15-year-old girl, Virginia Roberts. I mean, and that doesn't implicate Dershowitz? I mean, come on. Dershowitz looks as guilty as anybody in the court of public opinion. Yeah, Scissorfight thinks he's going to get whacked. Exactly. Thank you for your assessment, Scissorfight. You've been pretty accurate in almost all cases. Thank you. And that's why you rule the show over at iVlog, and will continue to rule the show. I've come to the conclusion that iVlog is some sort of a diversion. Mark must have paid him off or something. Seriously, we were up around 38 visitors when the guests didn't have to sign in, and now we're at 11. Oh, don't say anything bad about Scissorfight. You've been muted. Record 42.6C Celsius in Paris as Europe heat wave is blistering.
Yeah, we had it last week.
We had it last week. It finally arrived in your area in Paris, Meow TV. I think Meow TV stepped out to run cold water over his body. Wow. Paris on Thursday baked an all-time high, 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my God. A ferocious heat wave smashed records across Northern Europe. Well, you people in Europe better start getting on board the chemtrailparty.com site. You'll find out how they're geoengineering this chemical attack on our entire environment, causing irreparable damage. The story in last week. Venezuela government claims huge power outage caused by electromagnetic attack. You know, I don't doubt that one bit. The incident was reminiscent of another failure in March, which dragged on for as long as 10 days. You know, they could easily attack the electrical circuitry delivery system in Venezuela simply using directed energy weapons. Yeah, this is entirely possible, and I don't think we should discount that possibility. Maduro probably is being attacked, because remember, there's an economic hit by Western powers against his government to destroy him and take over his oil supply. These people are no good, man. The people that control Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and all the others. They're up to no good. They're willing to take down country after country to pursue their goal of global domination. So Anita says it was really uncomfortable and I don't have a fan cooler. Oh, Anita, oh my God, you're suffering. She's in the UK. She had no fan, honey. And you know how she suffers with all this stuff that she's going through. That's really sad. I'm so sorry. Yeah, bummer. Okay, we've got a new a new picture. I can't even talk about the show. That is pretty funny. It messed up too. It's messy. Somebody had some toilet picture. It was just disgusting. David, you should go and dive in the hotel pool and show off your leopard thong. How did you know about my leopard thong? Do you have like video cameras in my briefcase? Gosh. Are you spying on me? I'm just kidding. I don't have a leopard thong. It's more of a Black Panther thong, but whatever. Now I have some really cool beachy surf pants that have an expandable waist so that I can be, overweight and still look like I'm a cool beach guy. Yeah, I'm thinking I'd kind of like to go walking on the beach with Sarah again, so I can't wait to get home because I want to start trying out our beach experience again. The Expandable Waist Butt Huggers by Ben's. Anyway, yeah, I just really want to get back to nature. I've been hanging around all these stuffy corporate type where I am lately, and I had a good day today. I got a chance to talk to some powerful people in very high places, as opposed to high people in powerful places. Yeah, sometimes when you get a chance to talk to people who are, in the groove at a high level, it's good to mess with their heads a little bit, shake their tree. I like to do that. So many people are happy drinking tap water. And I make a point of asking people, do you drink tap water? And, invariably the ones that look all gray and pasty say, yeah, my water's fine. And I was like, yeah, but you look like you're about ready to keel over and die. But I don't say that. I'm not a Scientologist, Mad Dog. I like the fact that the jets fly over our house has been mitigated by the fact that we've added soundproofing, massive amounts of soundproofing. So now, whenever I hear a jet coming in, all I have to do is dip into my soundproof house and I'll be fine. Yeah. I've grown to love the climate where we live because, as you know, Sarah encountered a tremendous amount of mosquitoes this summer. I know. And she's been doing all the ironing tonight. We decided not to use an electric dryer to follow in the Amish tradition. And we are ironing all of our clothes with an electric iron as opposed to an electric dryer. Whatever. My goodness. Well, I've got 20 more minutes to wrap things up. Any other questions? Because we got cut off last night. I was being DDoSed at my VPN. We can pretty much wrap these shows up in 2 hours now because Trump repeats his stories over and over again. He's still attacking Iran, claiming he's going to destroy them. He claimed he was going to destroy Afghanistan, wipe them off the face of the earth. Now a few Afghanistan leaders are saying, what do you mean by wiping us off the face of the earth after we've been cooperating with your CIA for years? Yes. And they apparently our government has been, pretty good with the Taliban warlords who create heroin and sell it on the open market in Albania for next to nothing. Yeah, CIA makes a lot of money on that. So why would Trump be, spiting the hand that feeds them? I mean, doesn't Trump realize the CIA makes $50 billion a year off the Afghan warlords? I mean, why would he want to say we're going to wipe you off the face of the earth? Trump better figure out where his bread is buttered, because I think the CIA needs that money to maintain their operations. That's why they don't allow anyone to talk about it in the mainstream media. Yeah, Epstein's been injured in jail, has been put on a suicide watch. But that's just the beginning of the story. Yeah, we could be looking at the prelim to like round 2 where he does kill himself. Yes, take a look at this story right now.
On News 4 last night. Now he's live in the newsroom with new information, John.
Natalie, Jeffrey Epstein at this hour back in a prison cell after being treated at a prison infirmary. Investigators still trying to determine if Tuesday's incident was a suicide attempt or if he even might have been assaulted by a fellow inmate. At the Metropolitan Correctional Center, prison officers now keeping a closer eye on Jeffrey Epstein, the financier and accused child sex trafficker, injured earlier this week with apparent marks to his neck, lying nearly semi-unconscious in a fetal position in a secure cell block area. Investigators have 3 theories. 1, he tried to commit suicide. 2, he staged the incident to try to get a transfer. Or 3, that he was attacked by an inmate in his unit. Accused killer Nicholas Tartaglione is housed in the same unit as Epstein.
You hear that? He's housed with an accused killer, a multiple murdered accused killer. He's housed with him. I mean, this is going to turn into a bad reality very, very shortly.
His lawyer says Tartaglione was initially questioned only as a possible witness and is not a suspect.
Nick had nothing to do with harming anybody in any facility, including Mr. Epstein.
Tartaglione, a former Briarcliff Manor police officer, is accused of killing 4 people and could face the death penalty if convicted. His lawyer says his client and Epstein have become friends.
I've seen Mr. Epstein a number of times. When we were visiting Nick, I spoke to his lawyers. They get along well.
Epstein's lawyers did not return repeated requests for comments and were told Epstein was treated at the MCC's infirmary for minor injuries. Epstein was ordered held without bail on charges he abused underage girls. He has pleaded not guilty and is asked to be let out on bail to live at his East Side mansion on an ankle bracelet, a mansion where officials allege some of the women were abused. This week, NBC got a close look at Epstein's Virgin Island mansion, this in addition to his Florida and New Mexico estates. Epstein's lifestyle, a far cry from what inmates get at the MCC.
Yeah, and last night we established that he's also building another orgy island on that same island. He's building another complex over there, and he's been doing it for some time. I know. Isn't that amazing? Apparently he's getting away with it. We have drone footage of his island paradise right here. Well, he was up until now, yeah. But he's still building it. That's what's weird. It's like, here's more drone footage of the Epstein Island. It's a phenomenal structure, and he's got a second one in the works. So we're not sure what's going to happen with this guy, but if he turns state's evidence against other pedos, it could mean leniency for him. So chances of his existence being more than a few more days in prison with low security. If I were Donald Trump, I would really make sure this guy's safe, because we want to get to the bottom of the pedophiles. Oh, that's right. Donald Trump was accused of raping a 13-year-old at Mar-a-Lago with Jeffrey Epstein present. I guess he wouldn't be protecting him because he may be one of the people that Epstein would name. Here's one of the ritual chambers that the drone is looking at, where he conducted secret satanic masses or whatever the heck he did, allegedly. Yeah. I'm telling you, this is a very interesting case, because if Jeffrey Epstein ends up dying in jail, we'll know for sure that the pedophiles that he would have named in an attempt to get free are definitely worried. Yeah, and again, there would be no one to talk about it, because dead men don't tell tales, right? Okay. We're letting, Sarah's using an electric iron in the Amish tradition of ironing clothes to sound more Amish tonight. Well, there are rumors that something's happening with Epstein, yeah, in jail. But again, I don't know what to do for you. Yeah, I mean, if you're troubled by this story and haven't been troubled by it over the past 3 or 4 years when we've been talking about it, it's finally, it's great that you grew a conscience and care about the poor children. Because some of you didn't care about Epstein for years that I talked about this story, and now it's, oh, it's so poor, the poor children. Well, yeah, it's pretty serious. I mean, I've been very concerned about this for at least 3 or 4 years. No, Epstein doesn't want to hang himself. They want to get rid of him to stop him from telling all this truth about the pedos that he's been servicing. Didn't you get the message in the show? I mean, I explained that, 4 or 5 times? Are you, unable to hear me? Some people just don't hear our conversation when we're having it in the show. They're, chatting constantly or something. I think Epstein's going to be offed, Bean. I do. I believe it's a 99.9% chance they're going to make it look like a suicide, too. There's some powerful people that don't want him to talk. And since he's in that vulnerable position, bent over grabbing soap in the metro, it's not going to work out for him. Yeah. I think they moved that pharmacist, Shrellick, to a new jail cell, but that would be, Martin Skrellick would be a good partner for Jeffrey Epstein. Don't you think he'd be a good bed partner? Bunk partner? Yeah, Martin Skrellick. He should be, I think he's in another jail, though, in New York. But he should be the guy that Epstein should be with. That's safe. Nothing bad's going to happen there. If anything, he'll concoct some toilet brew of vodka or something to calm him down. Yo, what's going on? I guess we'll just kind of wrap that story up about Epstein until further details. I hope nothing bad happens to him, but today we're absorbing the reality that Russia targeted our elections at an unprecedented level of activity. Mueller has testified that Russia had blackmail on Trump, and it was beyond his purview to deal with that. I find that very disturbing. Yep. And the real truth of the matter is, Epstein's arrest is just the tip of the iceberg of human trafficking. It's the world's fastest growing crime. Yeah. Yep, this is a serious, true fact now that 900, it's something like a $90 billion industry nationwide, or worldwide rather, excuse me. They reported that child trafficking is a critical issue affecting more than 1 million children worldwide, many of whom are left to suffer in silence. But it goes on to say that sex trafficking is the most common form of human trafficking. Globally, an estimated 4.8 million people are forced into sexploitation. So 1 million are children, over 1 million, and 4.8 million total. So that means a lot of adults are being human trafficked, more than children. So the beat goes on. Now, the Daily Beast has uncovered ties between Epstein and the Clinton administration that date back to the president's earliest days in the White House. This is serious. Now, Bill Clinton, we never thought of him having children in the White House during that time when he was, playing with his young intern, Monica Lewinsky. But this is becoming more and more possible, that his connection, Epstein's connection to Bill Clinton, goes right to the White House, to visits by Epstein at the White House as early as 1993, according to their records. Epstein donated $10,000 to the White House Historical Association. Wow. But according to them, President Clinton knows nothing about the terrible crimes Jeffrey Epstein pled guilty to Florida some years ago. This is a statement. Yeah, by Clinton's spokesperson. They know nothing about it, or those for which they have been recently charged in New York. So Clinton's spokesman has said they know nothing. I know nothing. They're like Schultz on Hogan's Heroes. I know nothing. I see nothing. Jawohl. Okay, I think we're done there, and we covered the news stories. We're back on track for tomorrow night. But yeah, the big story really is that Trump knew that the election was rigged by the Russians before the election happened. He was fully aware of it. And Mueller testified Russia had blackmail on Trump. So this is not being talked about in the mainstream media, folks. We're here talking about it every night. They don't want to make this story get any bigger. They want it to go away. The deep state wants to keep Donald Trump in play and want to control him through blackmail. That's what's really happening, in my opinion. Well, whatever it's going to happen, it's going to happen while you Republicans are sitting there going, and you Democrats are going, huh? Yeah. Hey, Martin Skrellick, you're here. Hey, how are you? Is there any way you can get transferred? You're not at the New York City jail, you're in the jail in New Jersey. Martin Skrellick came in, honey. He's got a name.
Yeah.
He actually tracks our show pretty close from the New Jersey jail. Well, I'm sorry, Martin, because you'd make a really good bunk bed host for Jeffrey Epstein. You're not intimidating. You have kind of a low profile. He'd like that. I'm not trying to defend Jeffrey Epstein. I just want justice, and I want him to be able to stand up to the Democrats or whoever's investigating this and say that he's willing to turn state's evidence against all the pedos in Washington. Wouldn't that be the ultimate for leniency? Jeffrey Epstein reveals the list of pedos that he's been servicing for years. That would be the story that we're never going to hear. Yeah, because I really don't think Epstein's going to make it. I don't. I really believe it's like a 99% chance he's gonna, they're gonna claim it's suicide, but he'll just be offed. There's no other way to stop him from doing a plea deal if they really have that information on him. Martin is not. No, he's only serving, I think, 18 more months, Martin? It's a 3-year sentence, right? Yeah, they transferred you to New Jersey. Might be a better place for you. At least you get access to the internet. You know what I'm talking about? He didn't try to hang himself. They're setting him up for a suicide. They're going to off him being. Jeffrey Epstein's not trying to kill himself. He's going to be offed. Well, he apparently illegally made money on his sales of his stock. His pharmaceutical company was indicted on multiple charges of, racketeering, embezzlement. I don't know. Martin, you know the story. I don't want to drag you through the ropes here. When you have 9 charges reduced to 3 or something, and they gave you 3 years. David, have you ever wore a French coat around town with no clothes on and flashed people? I'm not into that, man. Thanks, Moving Dirt. I met a lot of people recently, very important people, I will say. I'm not going to give you any specifics because all of that will come out when I talk about my big trip this summer. But I met a lot of important people, and they're a little bit weary of me. I can see fear in their eyes. Yes. They don't understand how I keep doing this despite all odds and all censorship, because they themselves know full well that I'm being censored. What they don't understand is I'm playing a long game, way longer than they can even calculate. And the Hail Mary pass is about ready to land in the end zone. You leave a lot of important people at your Shari's.
So, all right, what's your show plan?
It's 6 more minutes and I'm closing down and just spend the night with you. And we'll do whatever we have to do. 6 more minutes, folks. We're lucky to be broadcasting. Thank you. Well, I hope that all of you try to brace yourself for what's to come. Everyone says the stock market's doing great, the economy's doing great. What they don't realize is that Donald Trump eliminated tax benefits in the future to the tune of $5.5 trillion from rich people. That's going to come home to roost in America, and I'm just bracing yourself for the reality that most of the stock market investing right now is the mad rush to the end. And any robust bullish views in the stock market is more about the Ponzi scheme that's been rolling forward, with Trump being, the puppet of the New World Order. No, we have cable. We don't have Netflix. If I want Netflix, I could do it, but I don't really want to do it. I'm just going to take it. Cable is fine with me. We're trying to get broadcasting through any means possible. I was actually VPN banned last night. We had to cut our show short by half an hour. But we'll be at new locations every night because we're on the move. No, I won't be a guest speaker at the Canasta Club in Dakota. Sorry. No, it's too dangerous for me to be there. Well, that's the thing. Mark banned all VPNs except for mine because I happen to know a VPN that he didn't ban. But our VPN was still banned on the upside last night. No, I haven't done a speech at all because I don't have the security, period, to do speeches. I talk on the show every night interactively. I would think that would be enough, You're getting a little greedy, don't you think? But many people don't understand what makes a show engaging. Why would a person watch a person talk for 30,000 hours like some of you have done? Because I'm beginning to reevaluate all things on the fly. Yeah. And I'm able to process information on the fly and react to the current news on a daily basis. So as the world turns, as the news morphs, I adapt. And it's all about being agile and adapting to situations. And that's what this show offers. We have political adaptations going on all the time. We are building a centrist platform, and it's really good. It's on our website. I'm not pushing for gun control ever. I'm never going to push that onto you like the Democrats are. I'm never going to be trying to take away your right to bear arms, of course. I'm also not going to be pushing the LGBTQ position onto any of you like the Democrats are. Thanks, A Spade. Backstreet Boys was a big, that and Boris Johnson is big hair guy. So I'm trying to track Boris Johnson's look. Google punishes a whistleblowing engineer with administrative leave. Whoa. Just when you thought Google was trying to make amends, hardly. The hive, known as Google, is quick to punish those who undermine its authorities. Hours after Google engineer Greg Coppola appeared with James O'Keefe in a Project Veritas video, he was put on administrative leave by his company. In the video, Coppola said that he believed that Google News and Google search engines algorithms were biased. Wow. He also claimed that the CEO, Sundar Pichai's testimony to Congress was not true. Whoa. Google has chastised those employees who had gone against its agenda. And in 2017, Google fired engineer James Damore after he wrote a memo about the company's ideological echo chamber. In 2019, a Republican engineer, Mike Wacker, was fired after he complained about the hostile attitude in the corporate culture toward conservatives. If Coppola is let go, he will be the third public victim of Google's inherent bias toward conservative engineers. Coppola openly admitted in his interview with O'Keefe that he liked Trump and liked his policies. He stated that the search engine relies too much on biased news outlets to feed its users negative news on Trump. I don't know, I believe the negative news on Trump is all part of the point counterpoint, the play that's going on right before our very eyes. They want to divide us. They want to drive Trump supporters away from liberal people and vice versa. And that's the game that's at play here. Divide and conquer our nation. And when a person like me, who comes up with centrist ideas, solutions for homelessness, solutions for water contamination in America, taking on the big industries with an anti-vax campaign, an anti-fluoridation campaign, an anti-GMO campaign, they're worried, especially the more people talk about me in the world at large, that they can't control, because word of mouth is way more powerful than any of these scumbag elitists think. And they can't track word of mouth. They really don't know what you people are talking about behind their backs. And that's the power that will break down the Illuminati. That's the power that will stop the New World Order from taking over our country. And as we build this third party, we will slowly see these feared, frightened little creatures who are hiding behind their billions and trillions of dollars begin to take cover, because I'll go after these people when I'm president, I assure you. Without any fear, I'm moving forward. Without any fear of dying, I will move forward and I will solve every piece of corruption in this country that I can. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of death if it comes my way because of my actions in this life. I know I've already inspired millions of people to take on these scumbag elitists who think they can control the world and depopulate this beautiful earth of ours and poison this beautiful earth of ours. So bear in mind, folks, the show, the beat goes on every night, and I will be back tomorrow night with the Freedom Friday show. But using this technology, I've been able to give you a remote broadcast for a couple hours. I appreciate that. No, I'm not going to tell you which VPN I use. That would be foolish. Thank you, Bob. Good night. Well, don't hurt yourself, Darth. Yeah. You're not Jeffrey Epstein. You've got a lot to live for. Good night, Martin. I hope you get through the next couple years unscathed in New Jersey. We'll need good pharmacy people like you in the future. All right. We know you're a brilliant pharmacist. So. All right. We're going to see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Same bat channel. Okay. Here we go. Closing off. The edited video will be brought to you without any racial remarks because of obvious problems with our show earlier. We will have that edited out in the YouTube show, so you won't even see it. Thank you. Good night.
You're listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum every night. Join us as we take on the two-party system